Joining me now, Lieutenant Colonel Ralph Peters, Fox News strategic analyst. Colonel Ralph, good to have you with us as always.
Hi,
welcome back. All right, so basically he's saying, we're in combat. We saw this with Joshua Wheeler, who was killed in Iraq on October the 22nd. Is there a problem with the acceptance of what we're actually doing on the ground there and the discussion of it in your mind?
Well, of course there is. I mean, we have a president who's more concerned with spinning than with winning. And right now, a relative handful of U.S. Special Operations Forces are carrying Afghanistan on their shoulders. It's just a stunning situation. And President Obama's actions and inactions have compounded mistakes made earlier by the Bush administration, so that we've got a situation in Afghanistan where, despite all the money we've lavished upon the Afghan state and military, all the weapons we've given them, all the training, they still can't stand up to the Taliban. I mean, our special operators are the Band-Aids holding that pretense of a country together, and our president's just concerned about not calling it combat. Well, of course, Rob O'Neill's right. Yeah. Those guys in that near Alamo situation yesterday down in Marja were certainly in combat, and you can't do it if they're not going to fight. Now, one thing I take issue with, many in the press, I'm hearing pundits saying, well, we need to know what's going on. Well, no, you don't. Special operators need to operate in secret. We don't need to know the details of their operations. What we need is a president who's willing to level with the American people on the macro level and say, yes, this is a fight, and here's why it's worth fighting.
But it doesn't seem, it seems like we're hanging these folks out to dry, and that they're in a very vulnerable situation there. As I say, we saw it with Joshua Wheeler in Iraq. We're seeing it with this person who was lost yesterday. Either you have a goal and you have a mission that you're there to carry out, and at least that part of the mission, I think, should be understood by the American people, not the specifics of what's being done on the ground. Or, it sounds to me, Ralph, reading through your notes this morning, you think this is a lost cause. So my question is, should we have absolutely no one there if that's the case?
Well, I think we need to ask fundamental questions, Martha. What is Afghanistan worth to us? The strategic prize was Iraq. Obama gave that away, and now Iran owns it. Has everything but a formal deed. Now, Afghanistan, there's still value in fighting terrorism. But we have to look at the situation objectively. After all the wealth we've lavished upon that country, the training, the weapons, the Taliban are not only back, but they are defeating the Afghan National Army, and we repeatedly have to bail them out with air support, special operators, etc. Now, you'll hear all sorts of excuses. But remember, the Taliban don't have that wealth. The Taliban don't have our weapons. They didn't have our training, but they do have a constituency, and they believe in what they are doing. And it's ugly. I don't like this situation, but at the end of the day in warfare, the people who have the greatest commitment, who are willing to die for their cause and keep on dying and keep on fighting, are the ones that tend to win. And unfortunately, we've made the same mistake we did in Vietnam. Vietnam, we poured in wealth, lavished wealth upon a poor country, and corrupted it. We did the same thing with Afghanistan. We turned a nation of pickpockets into grand felons.
It's a sad situation. And as you say, the Taliban has the will to fight in a way that the Afghan national forces that we've tried to train for years and years and years, it appears we'll never have. And we need to reassess.
There are some good Afghan units, but not nearly enough. And they're not willing to save their own country.
Ralph, thank you very much.